Hi everyone, this is Diane. It is time to do a tour of my craft room. So it is a small craft room. It is about 10 feet by maybe 8 feet. And this is the 8-foot wall here. And this is my door. So we've come in my craft room, we turn around and we see this holder, this hanger. I got it on Amazon and they showed it holding baby supplies like baby wipes and diapers and things like that, but I thought it would be perfect for some of my things in my craft room. So let's quickly see what we have in here. Up here is just nothing for crafting. It's a roll of whatever the film was that they used to use at the movie theater. There's the original Harry Potter movie and the animated Pinocchio in there. And that was when my daughter-in-law and I went to the local theater the night they showed the last film movie before they went digital, and they were giving away pieces of the movie strip. Those are my leather stars that I got at the flea market. Now, in here, this is where it's a vintage candy box, and this is where all of those buckles that I bought at the flea market, I got a couple of different batches of they're not buckles, they're slides. So that's where they all are. And here is just little boxes, small containers in case I need them. Up here or down here, we have this box that has my Scotch tape, my masking tape and Scotch tape, the vintage stuff. And this is parts of book spines. It is fun to use in shabby journals. This is, I forgot what that's called, but it's a sequin waist. And it has a name, but people use it for stencils. And I have some slide. I don't have a lot of slides left, but in this recipe box here, there are some slides and this little roll of shipping tape that I can stamp on and stuff. I've got some yarn here, and this is cheesecloth. Oh, more slides there. They're the metal frames. And down here I have cheesecloth and muslin, dyed and undyed. And in the bottom one, I just have trash bag liners and extra baby wipes. So that frees up a lot of storage space. I used to keep my trash bags and baby wipes on the top shelf of my closet, and it's so much handier to have them right there. And the muslin, it's very handy instead of digging around where I used to have them. So it's just, I really love this. I can't recommend it enough. I'll try to link it below. Then we move on, and I have this shelf. I can't use nails on these walls, so I use sticky hooks. So this shelf actually came from Amazon with the hooks. They have cacti on them. I wouldn't have put them there, but that's what they came with. So these little shelves come in handy. I just have some wooden stamps on display and some little wooden vintage things. And down here I have, this is a DVD holder that my son was getting rid of. And I thought it would be perfect to fit in this really small space behind my door. So I use some of my vintage containers here. This is milk caps, and this is my little loaf of bread that has Bible verses in it. And this little bowl has a few little special buttons, and some little baby buttons are in this old mustard jar. And I have these little hat baubles that were crocheted or stitched onto a crocheted or knitted hat. Some spangles. That was a thing that they used to do. That's a new jar. This is a vintage tin that isn't used for anything right now. And I have this mixed nut can that has my collection of milk caps. These are mine that don't go in projects. I try to keep one of each design that I find. And that little cracker tin is my button collection. I've got some more pretty tins here. This one has, here, I'll show you. I have to go over here. It has Perlex, that's what they are. And the other tin is empty at the moment. Now, these are not the best way to store these. I recognize that because, especially these are my bigger sets of stamps. Tim Holtz and some, what are these? Elizabeth Craft Designs. Some other ones that I have. Tailor-Made Journals, the Creative Expressions ones from Tailor-Made Journals and Sam Poole. The big sets, I buy these large envelopes to put them in, and they're just stacked. And then these are Stampin' Up! Stamp boxes. Some of them are Stampin' Up! Box, but most of them, I mean stamps, but most of them are not. But I used to purchase the boxes, empty ones that I could use. So, and these are kind of organized. I do have these labeled. I don't know. Yeah, you can see them. So they're kind of organized. So if I want Tim Holtz stamps that aren't in these, I know to look down here. So, but they don't always stay organized. I have to keep doing it over and over, you know, like we do. So this little drawer here has German scrap in the top, vintage Denison seals, and you know, the kind of stickers you would put on gifts. And these are vintage gift tags. And this little Fenton glass bowl just has some bling that I don't use that stuff very much. That box down there contains extra blades and tape and glue and stuff. And this little metal tin, I don't think it has anything in it right now. Coming back up here, I have this little basket. I had that hook there that I'm not using at the moment, but when I got rid of my Christmas stamps, I did not get rid of the Tailor-Made Journals ones from my friend Lorna. So I wanted to keep these. I love them. So I just put them in that little basket and put them on that hook for if I ever do Christmas journals again. Now we have a set of stacking drawers. Well, I think this is all one set. Maybe it's two sets stacked together, but this isn't a separate drawer. And on top, I have these two boxes with the photo boxes in them. The colored one has stamps, the clear stamps and the cling stamps. They both used to have stamps, but I have destashed enough stamps that I emptied one. So this box now has metal pieces, all different types of metal and 3D things, kind of. And I wanted to say that if you want me to go through anything, like I could take this down and show you what's in there. We can do that. And I don't know if I'll have time, but I could do some of that at the end of this video, tack something on, we'll see. And then these drawers have my wooden stamps, except this has punches. They're the border punches, mostly, and I think some corner punches. So I just have my stamps categorized by backgrounds, decorative. What does that say? Doesn't say anything right now, so it's got ladies. I guess I need to make a label for that. Scripture and border stamps, flowers, and any kind of botanical, like fruit and trees and stuff. And music, that says music, but it also has vintage. And down there, food and cooking, animals, and food and cooking, animals, and fantasy. There's a cookie tray here, and I don't remember why that's there. An old beat up cookie tray. All right, so that's this little, let me show you, this little nook behind the door. Now I have a small space before we hit the closet door, so I can't do much here, but it's just the right size to fit my 3-tier cart and another smaller stack of drawers. I've been picking up some metal signs at flea markets, and they're not vintage. They're made to look vintage, and I have a space there for another one, so when I find another one, I have some more over by my sewing machine that you'll see. Here's another one of those shelves. And I have a roll of tickets, and my empty glue bottle or extra glue bottles go here. I don't want them laying on their side in that box with the tape and stuff. And I just have some boxes of cards and game things. Here I have a roll of twine. This is a hook there. And I put my sari silk on an embroidery hoop, and I have this cool metal ruler hanging up behind it. I'll have to put that somewhere where it can be seen better. So here is my 3-tier cart, and I talked about that when I was showing you my ephemera, because I have these document boxes, and we did look at these when I did my sorting ephemera video. So I figured I could fit 3 more document boxes in here, and they come in a set of 4. So I was going to order them. I had them in my cart, and then I thought, let's try to put my ephemera binders right in here. And then this little one from Hobby Lobby. So this is all ephemera up here. So these are just random ephemera pieces, and this is flowers, birds, and butterflies. And down here, it's a little harder to get to, but I have vintage photos and yearbook photos and pages. Let me move these. These are embossed cardstock pieces. I just stuck them there so they're handy. So I have photos here. These are yearbook photos and pages in there. I have extra plastic pages for my binders. And this is just an envelope that holds digital ephemera. And I don't get it out. This ephemera has been printed for a long time. So I need to get it out and use it. It's like big pieces of vintage ephemera, but it's digital. I don't remember what's in here. Oh. This has some Tim Holtz ephemera, some of the people and the black and white, and some tintypes. I didn't even remember that was in there. Well, it's upside down now, but that's the best I can do for now. And then down in the bottom, I have these 2 containers that I can just pull out when I need them, and they are baker's twine and fibers. This is in a plastic container, and it's divided so I can kind of separate things. And this, hope that wasn't too loud, this is a drawer. I have it backwards. It's a little white drawer, wooden drawer, and I have seam binding in it. Okay, I had to edit out some of the video because I turned my camera the wrong way for some of it, but just for a few minutes. So I had shown this stack, well, started showing this stack here. This is right next to the 3-tier cart that we just looked at. And the little shelf of cards and glue are up above it. So this is a vintage post office stamp spinner, and it came with a lot of postal stamps, and I've added more stamps as I already had some purchased from flea markets and have found some more. So I think it's full. And then the ones that didn't fit in there are in that. And this just has some wax seals that I've made. Just goes behind it. And then I have 2 small sets of drawers and then medium-sized set of drawers. So this one has my embossing powders and any embossing tools except for my heat gun. And this one just has miscellaneous office things like stapler, tape, scissors. This has the special scissors that I never use, extra staples. And these are some beading tools that I need to keep handy, these tools especially. This is book pages. So there's some French book pages. It's all vintage books, dictionary book in there. And this is homemade paper or handmade paper. It was purchased. I didn't make it, but it's that kind of paper. And this is doilies. Lots and lots of doilies. I'll need to thin them out again, I think. This is, it says plastic, stickers, and pictures. So this is kind of miscellaneous. So I have some decals in here, vintage, and these are stickers. And these are ones I actually printed. It was a digital, and I printed it on the sticker paper, the like label paper. And then I keep special pictures that might be good journal covers and just special pictures, pretty ones in here. And then the plastic just means like photo sleeves and stuff like that. And vellum, or not vellum, but acetate. And here is vintage receipts of all types. And then I threw in these price stickers. I'm gonna sit in my chair so I can show you the lower shelves better. Okay, we looked at that. This is stationery and gift wrap, and I put my shelf liner in here too. I have a little zipper pouch for my stationery, but it's all out now. And the pouch is empty right here. So that's what's in there. It's not a whole lot to look through, so it's not bad to dig through it and find what I want. Now these two drawers contain pouches of book pages, and I have the pouches divided up. So there are children's book pages, miscellaneous, shabby chic, typography, fashion, and art. Some of these I peeled off of their previous drawer, so they're not quite sticky on the ends. Reference books, math and science and tech, botanical, crafts, and collectibles. And those drawers are full, but I have weeded them out, and I just don't want to get rid of any more. So I better be using those book pages more often. Then I have a hanging shoe holder that I keep my other punches in. And I just hung this up. It's just got long storage in it, so I have borders in there. So that's kind of new, hanging up there. I had it someplace else, but it wasn't working. So I just have punches, and this is that alabaster hand that I use when I'm filming my journals. These stamps are in there because they go with one of these punches. They go with that punch. So these are all punches, and I have two pouches that have little flower bits that I can use in my journals. Let's look at the closet. So I have two of these lights, and one of them needs batteries, and I don't have the right size battery. So I'm just going to move this from side to side while I talk. Now, my Christmas stamps and Christmas supplies were all in this back corner, and they are all gone. So up here is my splat box for spraying. Those are my Disney bracelet, the bands that we get when you go to Disney to show that you paid or whatever. My husband's and mine from our last vacation that we had together. This is a box of chenille. And this is an empty tray, and I'll talk about that when we get to where it belongs. This is an empty binder. And I have these book bins, I think they're called. I think Hobby Lobby sells them all the time and in their kids section, but I know Walmart sells them at back to school time. So this, I don't have labels, and I should. This one is large pages, just large book pages. It's mostly children's books. And this pouch has vintage wallpaper pieces. And this is scraps of file folders and other things that I want to stamp on and make things with. And then this is some unfinished things. I'll get that down and we'll go through that together. I think that's an empty box back there. On the wall, I just have this glove holder, like plastic glove thing to store your gloves on. It did have some vintage lace gloves on it when I bought it. And I don't know what that came with. I don't remember. It had something on it and I thought it was pretty cool. So I saved it for a junk journal. And here I have my little kit of sewing journals together, all my supplies in there. And that's just mistable from Prima, I'm sorry, and it's a canvas paper and you can spray it. And I got it at a thrift store or a flea market for 25 cents. This door is squeaky and I want to make it so it doesn't keep closing on me and squeaking, so I just moved my stamp turntable there. So I've got some shelves in the corner here, and in this one I have vintage ephemera, green stamps and loyalty stamps, and this one is stencil letters and things like that. Coasters. I sold most of the Viewmaster reels. I kept 3, so I can use that drawer for something else. Tally cards, Denison stuff, and calling cards and cigarette cards. Over here are supplies for making wax seals, and these are my labelers. And I just have these little tiny field guides sitting here, so I know where they are. They're not really in the way. And now I have papers in here. So this is checks and invoices, like my vintage ones. Most of them are in this. Some are checks, some are invoices, and then I've just added to the pile. What is this? Just vintage, miscellaneous vintage stuff. Letters and envelopes. And now these are not all vintage, but these are just papers that I can use as pages. So this one says columnar pad. So some of these are vintage and some are not. And this one is graph paper. Oops, wrong drawer. Some are vintage. This one's vintage and some are not. But I have a lot of different types of graph paper in there. And this one is parchment. And I think it has resume paper too. Yeah, it says resume and parchment. And then this one is rice paper, typing, and Italian paper. And then down here is just lined paper. And this one it has a fill head type of paper. And then this the printer stationery in different designs. And down there is just corrugated cardboard pieces. Here in this space is the cover for a sewing machine and my Amazon envelopes and brown paper bags and things like that. And then I have this space where I have file folders that I can cut up, and these are the digitals that I have printed that are like digital kits or papers. And these are book pages that should go in those other drawers, but like I said, those drawers are full. So I'm waiting till I can thin those drawers out. Now here we have this cubicle, and it has 6 cubes. Came with it didn't come with the 3 canvas boxes, but I bought them, and then I have these plastic baskets too. And on top, I have more of those book bins. And this is where I store some of my themes. Like this one has some themes. Most of them are in my office closet, but I do have some things in here. These are just some fun, what are they called? What are these called? I know what they are. Anyway, they're vinyl. And this is a set of Heidi stuff. To make a Heidi journal. I have Leonardo da Vinci. These are just small kits that don't have much in them. The 70s, Mary Poppins. I have more of Mary Poppins, so that should probably move. This is cherries and swans, office and writing. So it has typewriters and pens and just any kind of office-y stuff. And there's quite a bit in there now. There's more Mary Poppins. And then I have things cut from books. So they're divided up. Miscellaneous, people, mostly they're children's books, animals, flowers, and then from magazines, the same things, different categories. Some of the same categories, beauty, a lot of vintage magazine things. And then here are things cut from, I keep dropping my camera lower, I'm so sorry. Vintage magazines, ladies, and these are larger images that I think would be good on covers, and they're either from magazines or book pages. So the homemaking pouch and the food and cooking pouch is pretty full. Oh, I guess I better move this back. In here I have napkins, and oh, that's where the rest of my drawer liners go. I was looking in with my wrapping paper, but they belong here. These are just some special embroidered pieces, and game money and game pieces. I'm sorry, my flashlight is swinging and it's probably making you dizzy. Crochet motifs, borders and tatting, and this has some of the neutral type of fabric and some small doilies. Then we have my fabric. So I can pull these out and look at them with you if you want. We have kitchen linens, novelty and special, like specially beautiful fabric, blue, red. So this is the one that's divided up into different colors. That one is patchwork and quilts, sheets, burlap, and tapestry. And this one is solids and multicolors, and the ones that have like a basic pattern like checks and stripes and dots. Underneath this basket are layer cake, like the squares. And underneath this basket are my leather pieces. Okay, over here I have some wooden milk crate type of boxes stacked up. So I'll move this closer. So it's wooden milk crates. I have my camera tripods back there, but I don't use them at this time. So these, I just labeled these baskets. So here we have, these are small little pieces of embroidery that have been cut. So they're just small pieces that I can add to a cluster or something. Hand crochet pieces, that box full that I bought at the flea market this year. And these are ribbons, both boxes. These are the round spools, and then these are bigger spools and ones that are wrapped around cards. This is the box that empty tray goes in, the one that's on the top shelf. But I have too many trims in there. The box or the tray just takes up too much room. So these are braid. They're vintage. Braid and fringe and tassels and things like that. And then in these boxes, I have smaller, sorry, my finger got in the way of the lens, leather samples and rayon strips of fabric. Down here, I have, that's the wrong thing, eyelet fabric, sheer fabric, and it's like dotted Swiss and things like that, sheer. And lace fabric and tulle and netting. And then in that I have larger pieces of, there's a dotted Swiss, whoops, my finger, sorry, velvet and dotted Swiss sheer, and then some patchwork or quilted pieces, like quilted placemats are in there. And down here I have my coils for my bind it all and cinch, and the cinch is in that, tucked in that corner behind the tripods. And down here I have some of the larger 12 by 12 pouches for fashion images and magazine images. And the fashion images are divided up by decade, or 2 decades in a pouch. Whoops, I forgot I had this door being held open by my stamps, so I'm gonna have to clean that up later. All right, so now we're in the corner, and this is my, when I say cutting table, my cutting station, this is it. And I have another of the little wooden shelves up there, and these are just decorative things. The box that had toy money in it at the flea market, this vintage pin cushion, this little vintage stamp pad, self-inking stamp pad box, and this little Bessie P's Gutman art on this little glass box, and even the little box of herb ox bullion cubes. I think that came in a box of something. And I forgot that this was up here, but it's a beautiful business card holder. So I put a lot of my calling cards in it and then forgot they were there. It's a pretty decoration, isn't it? Okay, now my cutting table. There's my Cricut. So when I need to use my Cricut, I have to take these baskets off and turn my Cricut the other way. That's doable. I have my Cricut mats hanging right there on a little nail. And my Big Shot is there. Again, I'll have to kind of move my boxes or my baskets and then turn this and use it. So these are the cutting dies that we organized just the other day. And then this basket has more file folder pieces. So I have to go through this and the one that's on the top shelf in my closet and kind of put things together. It's got, these are folder pieces that were colored that I cut into tag size. And then down here are the drawers. It has my cutting plates and little tools. These are what I use for shims, little cardstock pieces. And this has dryer sheets to use for cutting intricate dies. And I think there might be a piercing mat in here that somebody gave me. I'm not sure what else is in there. And these are the 3D emboss slits and some thicker embossing things. And I don't have anything in here, but I just store my camera when I'm not using it. I only use that camera now for taking pictures for my shop. And these are the steel plate dies. Here I have some of the longer cutting pads, and this box contains my Cricut cartridges and booklets, and then this is a binder that holds my embossing folders. This is a pouch that some kind of bedding came in, and it holds my dyed papers, my large dyed papers, coffee dyed or color dyed paper. Moving on, this is right next to my sewing machine. So I have 3 stations in here in this small room. My cutting station, my sewing station, and this is where I do most of my work. So right next to my sewing station, I have this set of colorful drawers, and on top, these are cut fabrics in different shapes, and these are little, mostly squares, I think. This is handkerchiefs, vintage handkerchiefs, and it's a little too full right now. When it gets too full like that, I have to thin it out, and either by using some or selling some. This is millinery flowers. Someone had sent me a whole box full of millinery flowers that I sorted through and organized. So these are nicely organized now. That's not all I have. So these are just little containers that sit on top of the drawers. In here I have rosettes and ruffles and things like that. The spools of trims, most of those are from Hobby Lobby. gimp and some tapestry braids. I think these were belts. Just some basic stuff. And some smaller fabric pieces. These are large, wide laces. And then I just have laces in here, different. This is the one that has the cotton lace and some other types of lace. And more lace, all wound on cards. And down here, this has some specialty ones, some pretty embroidered ones and things like that. Up here on my wall is another sign that I got at a flea market. And I bought that doll was in a box of paper dolls that I got. So I just stand her up there. And this is a chipboard piece that was in or with a box of Victorian stuff. It might have been in a scrapbook or just in a box, but I taped her right up there on my wall. So I have 2 more of those types of floating shelves that I got from Amazon. And then I have 3 of these that are actually for sitting your picture frames on. And they are made by, I can never remember. It's the people that make these hooks. They make these shelves too, that you can pull the tape off and not make a mark on your wall. Anyway, I just have this cute little Pioneer Woman pincushion up there. And this is pieces of velvet fabrics and velvet ribbon. What's in here? Oh, more velvet ribbon. And more velvet ribbon. Some ruffle fabric or lace. And just some, this is like gauze, bandage gauze, a vintage, and some gauzy fabric, some not vintage measuring tape. And then these little containers have little tiny scraps of fabrics and laces and stuff. Now, this was all cleaned up better. There. But I have things out now for working on my current journals. So this little tray here, I put my trims that I want to use in my journals. This is another little plastic container of scraps, and it used to sit up on my shelf here, but I kept knocking it off, and it always made me mad, so it doesn't sit on my shelf anymore. And these are the kitchen linens that I've been using to make the covers of my journals, and they're going to sit here probably till I'm done with the journals. I might use them for pockets and fabric flips. So back here I have some gauze. There's vintage bandage again. And what's in this? Oh, that's nice. I should get that out where I can use it. It's like neutral pieces of embroidered stuff. These are, there's cheesecloth in there that doesn't belong. These are the shorter pieces of trim that are no longer than the length of the box. And this one is kind of the same thing, but it's special, some prettier ones. And they're just kind of stacked because I don't have space to put anything where I want to. But it works. And up in this shelf, there's just a vintage calendar. I like the metal frame that it's on, and some tulle and pom-pom. There is another picture that I bought at a flea market. That's a wooden one. It's actually from an antique mall. And some of my quilt rulers. And let's look at the wall before we continue on to the table. So I have more hooks with these baskets on them. There's my pom-poms, my yo-yos, my eyelet, and here and here are more millinery flowers. This is fabric strips and ruffles. This is, this has all of my colors of the wax thread for sewing journals together, plus some other twines and things. And this is silk embroidery and seam binding, crinkle seam binding. So if I'm sitting at my sewing machine, I have all of this right here, and my drawers of laces. And down here I have just basic sewing supplies there. Threads in here, my commonly used threads, and then other threads. This one has mainly the colors I use in journals, but I have these just in case. They're from my garment sewing days. And rickrack. Here is just the book for my sewing machine and some elastic. Some feed sack fabric, and I have a drawer I can use. These are just strips of, I'm not even sure what that was for. I'm sorry if I've turned my camera sideways. So here's where I sew, and back here I do need to organize this. I have appliques and the smaller lace pieces that could be an applique, and crochet motifs, little crochet motifs, like little medallions, things like that. And then in this little box I have some stamped muslin pieces. And here is my box of eyelets and tools for setting eyelets. And I have my pins here and my little container of scissors and seam ripper and basic tools for sewing. Now, this is my new chair. I got 2 of them, and I put them together all by myself. And it's more comfortable than the ones I had that were very, very squeaky. So I'm very happy with these chairs, and the arms lift up if I want them up. And this is where I do most of my work. So we'll start from the top. I have a little window up there with some of my pretty glassware. That little Dutch girl in the corner is a creamer, and my grandmother gave me that set, and she died when my son was a baby. He was 3 months old, and he was her first great-grandchild. So she was killed in a car accident. So I had pieces of that set, and I've given some pieces to my sisters too. She gave them to me as kind of a, what do you call it, hope chest gift. So I don't want to put things up here that are going to be faded by the sun coming in that little window. But I have a box of embroidery floss and eyelets here, and this is my bind it all and other things that go with the bind it all. A box of, or a basket of my label stamps. Oh, there's some binder clips in there. This kind of a stamp. And some giant paper clips, because I didn't know where else to put them. And my Big Bite. And this is a little plastic box full of the little bags. And then those are boxes of envelopes. The 2 at the end are small envelopes and bigger envelopes. And then that is just vintage bingo and bridge and any kind of miscellaneous vintage paper. And down here I have purchased journal cards and things like that. We can go through these closer. These are what I was waiting for to come from Amazon so I could do my video. These are just little trays, and they came in a set of 2, and I wanted them for my postcards. And my postcards do fit in there just barely, but anything that's a little bit wider. Some postcards are slightly wider and they wouldn't fit. So I thought these would be perfect for my cards that I just sorted. So these are all the playing cards with the, you know, the suits on the back, the clubs and diamonds and stuff. And I put the other game cards and the kids' cards in the other box. And I filled them both. Those are my markers. So this is now the box of postcards, and I put bingo cards and time cards in there because it's not full. And this is library pockets and library cards, and that's not full, but they're both, they can't fit in one together. There's another acrylic box that has index cards, recipe cards, different kind of cards like that. Lots of them. And then this is the little box that has the tiny tags and stuff. One more shelf to look at. So when I'm sitting on at my desk working, and I say on the shelves above my head, this is what I'm talking about, these shelves here. Here is my washi tape holder, and I like that the drawers tip down so I can see. They are all full, and then there's some in this little box on top. Here's another sewing machine drawer, so I have 3. This one has tags, and the larger tags, and oh, it's got some bingo in it too, and some guest checks. Here is where I hang this is where my phone is when I'm making a video. So when I'm trying to get things from up here, I might, rattle my phone. So I try not to. I tried not to put anything behind this light that I have to reach it and then hit the light, or behind this that I might want to reach while I'm doing a video. So it's a little tricky. These are just little pieces, tiny pieces, and this is the smaller tags, and that's pretty full. We recently did a video with these. And these are digital pieces and sticky note pads and stuff like that. This is small special stamps that I want easy access to. And my little box that has reinforcements and stars that I can make. And then over here is my box of ephemera that I have made ready to go in a journal. So while I'm sitting here, I have my tablet here, which is usually playing YouTube videos, and then I have this little set of drawers that I got at a flea market. I kept these from when I think it was when I did my income tax. I thought I could stick them in a journal, but I always forget about them. They're just part of the scenery now. In here I have some words, some stamps, the made by stamps, and this book belongs to, and this little tray here has just small word stamps that I can use for small things. Some labels. Oh, that's something fun that I bought. I forget about that being in there. I bought it from a Etsy seller, and they're vending machine numbers. Isn't that cool? Prices and reinforcements. So this table here was a very narrow table. I don't know the measurement of it, but it was in an office that my husband worked in, and they dismantled the office and he brought it home. So it is 2 5-foot pieces, and it just barely fits on this 10-foot wall. So he added this piece of plywood back here with the backing so stuff won't fall down, but there's a dip, it goes down. So it's a well, so it's convenient for holding my things, but and I need it to hold my things back there, but I wish my table was wider because I just don't have space for spreading things out. But I will take what I can get. Here is another one of the baskets that is hung with adhesive, and it holds my most commonly used punches. And I have another one on the other wall that you'll see in a minute. I have my light here. My spin around thing that I think I bought at Hobby Lobby a long time ago has all my glues, and this holds my red tape and things that I use often. My magnet for picking up spilled pins. Here is erasers and stuff. And stuff is my favorite phrase, right? And then this it's compartmentalized, and it has my most used tools: scissors, rulers, these things, stylus, knives, bone folder. And these are the pins that I use for unclogging my glue. This is my little roll of German measuring tape. I just keep it in here. I put it in this pouch so it doesn't unwind. And then I just bought this. I can't remember where, one of those stores I just went to, and it works very well for putting my pens, markers, pencils, and some brushes. And then I got this from scrapbook.com. There's two ink containers. Somebody sent me that mouse in a Happy Mail, and he's so cute. He's just a little cling. I stuck him on my wall, and he's been there ever since. So on top of these, I have little Tim Holtz boxes, little tin boxes that have little things in them, and the ball of twine there. Then I have my VersaFine Clear inks here, and then some Distress archival inks there. And these are my brushes, my ink brushes. And back in that little corner that's kind of inaccessible, I had two of these. I had one that wasn't working right, and then somebody sent me one, and they've just been tucked back there, and I haven't been using them. So while I was deep cleaning, I got them out and loaded them up with tape. So I think we're going to be using these again. And this is my work surface. These are the journals I'm working on. And I have a list of stuff, just some jottings of stuff I might want to do in these journals. And these are things that I will use in the journals. Over here, I have this container that I got at Hobby Lobby. It has my brayers on top. I just moved them up there. And my ink, my black soot, and my vintage photo, and it's their distress tools, some other black inks, basic inks, and then some scratch paper and my little cutting tool. It's hard to get to sometimes when I'm working because I have stuff that gets in the way, but it's there. And then I have this that I don't remember where I got it, probably Hobby Lobby. And it's got some cardboard underneath, and it's got cream colored and white cardstock that I can use to back things, and this is scraps of some of that stuff. These are those words that I printed and use. And then this is usually sitting down here while I'm working, and so these three shelves are used for cut off papers of my current project and things like that. So papers I might want to use in the current project. So here, I had this stuff here, and I thought maybe I would sort them into these trays while we're talking, but this video is going too long, so we're not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to stop the video here and continue on. I didn't know this would take so long. I guess I'm talking too much. So this will be part 1 of my tour. I'll see you in the next one.